Hi, I'm Brian Shillibeer, Chief Correspondent with ThisWeekinFM, and you find me in the company of Mr. Paul Teasdale, Chief Executive Officer of PTSG, a company that Paul founded in 2007 and in just 12 years has taken to a value of in excess of £300 million, that investment coming from the Macquarie Bank of Australia. Paul, I'm not going to ask you how you got there, but what I am going to ask you as the first question is, how are you going to stay there? How are you going to maintain a business and the credentials that you've built up in an industry that is notorious for arriving at a critical mass and then losing the customer focus that they had when they were smaller?
Okay, thank you. I think that's a good question, and a question we're faced with regularly. And because we've had such rapid growth over the last 12 years, it's a question that has always arisen internally of how we're going to make sure that we give that local service, that great service which we're well known for, to keep the business very efficient, to be able to offer the right price point in the market. And because we've grown continuously at over 35% every year for in excess of 10 years, we've faced that challenge many times before. So it's not something new to us. We've grown to a critical mass, but in reality, we've been growing at that level now for in excess of 10 years. So we see it really just as business as usual. We see it as a constant. We see the fact that we have an ability to have a steep growth curve within the business and have a model within the group of, within the company and within the people that we're able to cope with that and learn to educate our people and help our people and support our people, who in turn can support our customers to be able to offer that feeling we did when we very first started the business. So we've never strayed away from that, and it's very much our mantra.
Paul, that's a great answer. And let me, before I ask the second question, say thank you very much for joining us here today.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure we're going to have some more illuminating answers. So the next question I have for you is, you've found as PTSG a not unsubstantial niche in the compliance market. Now, we know that the government and larger purchases of FM services, related services, are wary of the big boys' vulnerabilities because of their over-expansion, their over-indebtedness and the low margins. Do you think PTSG can push on now into those markets and with a more reliable model?
I'm not sure I would describe our model as more reliable than others. I think that would be very unfair. I think we work for a lot of the large FM companies. We have an excellent relationship with them. They do some fantastic things. We hope we do some fantastic things as well with them, and we do. But we really complement each other. We don't step on each other's toes. We generally do not do what our clients do. And that's always been a thought process of PTSG since we started the business. So we're really doing things our clients don't want to do. Roughly 17% of our client base comes from the FM marketplace, and 83% is direct to customers. So as such, we have a wide spread of who we work for. And when we're working with the large FM companies, like I said, I think together we ultimately become a better service for the FM client's customer when we work well together.
Part of the business as usual outlook, I presume, will be PTSG continuing to buy companies that fit their profile. What questions do you think you'll be under for PSG to expand and for the sake of expansion, and again, expanding without losing that PTSG-edness that we've become familiar with?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Really, we won't be under any pressure. We've even in a public marketplace where we've been floated on the London stock market for the last 4 years, we've never felt a pressure to do deals for the sake of doing deals. That's not who we are, and that's not what we're about as a business. We don't buy businesses to solve problems, and we don't buy businesses for the sake of it. We see buying businesses as a real enhancement to PTSG, to the service offering, the geographical coverage, the technical capabilities of the group. So 27 acquisitions to date in the last 12 years. When we say business as usual, what we mean is PTSG is very much a mixture of strong organic growth, really an endorsement of who we are and what we are in the marketplace. So organic growth rates of over 15% a year, and complementary acquisitions. And some of those might take us into new niche markets, as you described, as well as existing markets we're in. So we see that as a continuous as a way forward. We're very selective of who we will buy. We're very selective of what we do with those organisations in terms of we're buying real quality people and quality organisations, and just really businesses we can help, maybe help them on their growth curve and help them on their cycle a little bit better with ourselves. With a client base of over 20,000 customers, we want to push them into markets and be able to give them the back office capabilities that the group has as a whole.
Okay. You mentioned that you were on the London Stock Exchange. As a part of the acquisition or the investment that's come from the Macquarie Bank, you've now come off that listing. So I wanted to clarify that. But of course, that means that I presume you came into quite a bit of money. Why not simply retire into the sunshine, Paul?
I think that's a question, although maybe a little bit personal, I think I get asked quite often. So I'm more than happy to answer it. I think myself and John Foley and certainly some of the key management team, we made our money a long time ago, a long time before we started PTSG. PTSG has never been about money venture, it's been about passion. And the passion quite clearly is about building something nobody's ever done before, building a business which is sustainable, which is a great employer, has great people in it, and we've certainly achieved all those things. But really building a business within a marketplace that is different to what's been there before and able to offer a great service at a great price point. So the passion's still there. The passion's still very much as it was the first day we started PTSG. That goes for the team as well. So we're all very passionate about extending that service. And when we say business as usual and when we say what are we doing going forward, we're talking passionately internally about running harder than we've run before. And that's with a growth business of over 35% a year for the last 10 years, that takes some doing. So that's slightly daunting, but something that puts a smile on my face, is a real challenge, but something that more than anything really excites us.
Paul, I read so many people writing about their passion for this, their passion for that. I see lots of people talk about their passion for this, their passion for that. And it comes over as flat, it comes over as insincere. Because I think when you talk with passion, it shows up in your eyes and it shows up in that smile on your face. Like it did for you when you were speaking to me just then. I believe that you are passionate about this business, and the fact that you're going to stay in it proves it. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for doing this interview with us.